Welcome back to the December 11th, 2019 meeting of the Ascension Parish Zoning Commission. All members are present. Number 3 on the agenda is a motion to accept the minutes of the October 9th, 2019 Zoning Commission meeting. Do I have a motion? Motion. By Mr. Christie, second by Mr. Chasson. All in favor? Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing none. Item number 4 is the chairman's comments. I have no more comments tonight. Item number 5 is a public hearing to amend the Ascension Parish Development Code zoning tables for recommendation for approval or denial to the Ascension Parish Council. 5A, zoning review ID PZ 2162.19, lots 3A, 4B, re-subdivision of lots 3A and 4A of the Peter and Amelia Severio Estates for Peter DeLon. This is located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 44, approximately 200 feet south of Burtville, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from mixed-use 2 corridors, MU2, to mixed-use corridors. Mr. Brown.
Yes, staff recommends to deny the request of mixed use as requested due to the permitted uses that could be allowed under the mixed use corridor district, and it would not be compatible with surrounding properties.
All right, I think I went a little bit out of order on this. Do we have the applicants here tonight? Do you want to be heard on this? Yes, sir. Come forward and state your name, please. I'm sorry. I should have taken you first.
Yeah, I'm Stephen Urquhart, Macklin Taylor Engineering. I'm here to represent Mr. Peter DeLon on this rezoning. Simply want to take his property and go from MU2 to MU. Here to hear what anyone has to say against it.
All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this matter. Ms. Stacy, has anyone signed up to speak on this?
No.
I'm sorry, Ms. Jamaica, I'm still in planning mode. I'm really
Nobody
not
signed
functioning well right now. Nobody signed up. We'll close the public hearing. All right, commissioners, questions, comments, and/or a motion?
Lance, I mean, I know the property directly to the south is not, it's not in the right proper zoning, and it's a non-conforming use, but that's a fairly intense use right now.
Yes, sir, it's like a laydown that's on that side. But it is a laydown yard.
I mean, it's borderline industrial.
Yes, sir. Well, it's a construction laydown yard, yes, sir.
Right.
It's non-conforming.
Which means if it's not used, if it ceases operation, it reverts back to being whatever the
Underlining the zoning district
Correct,
is, yes,
yes.
sir, correct.
I guess my concern is we had all this urgency to pass a new master plan because we didn't have a good master plan. And this master plan that we spent all the money on and had a big, long hearing and passed, this piece of property is actually slated under the master plan to be designated as residential neighborhood. So going from MU2 to MU seems to be going completely in the opposite direction of what the master plan suggests we should do with the zoning of this property. And again, I mean, I know it's ultimately, it's not our call, it's the parish, but, I mean, the council, but if we're gonna actually, you know, it'd be kind of ironic that we've had the lack of a functioning master plan rammed down our throats for however many 4 years, 6 years 4 years, I guess, I've been on this commission, to then have the first rezone, you know, pass a master plan, then have the first rezone request come up, and to go in the complete opposite direction of what the master plan suggests. So that's kind of my, I guess, comment on it.
Yes, I guess, Lance, I don't remember this coming before us to get rezoned from residential to MU2. Do you know how long it's been, and what was the reasoning for?
It was, yeah, at one time, probably all of Highway 44 may have been Crossroad Commercial. So we came up with this new designation probably in around 2008 to a mixed-use 2 designation. And that basically, that designation was that transition between residential and commercial that allowed professional offices, some retail, restaurants, those things that cater to neighborhoods and those type of things, with a limitation of 8,500 square feet per building.
That was at every intersection on the
No,
44?
no, there was basically, the way that it is now is along Highway 44, majority of Highway 44.
Fronting on Highway
It's gonna be,
44,
it's
yeah.
gonna be mixed use too, except where it's four-laned, south of 621,
Right,
it's mixed
right.
use. And then at the major intersections of Germany, 931, at those intersections is crossroad commercial.
So along 44 in this region, this section here, everything is MU2 right now,
Mixed use too, correct, yes, sir,
not residential.
correct.
Has the applicant considered turning this whole property into a PUD? Have y'all considered doing that?
Doing what now?
A PUD,
The spud.
A spud.
No, we have not.
okay.
Well,
Is,
here's a concern. The zoning district that you're requesting allows an awful lot of, shall we say, intensive uses that would be not consistent with the surrounding land uses. It would be a problem. I mean, a bar and a couple other ones that would be permitted on that zoning district. However, what you outline in your application that you want to do with it, might be compatible, if it were handled through a spud,
Okay.
where the uses could be limited and the layout and the configuration of the site to address any buffering and things like that could be identified. And that's essentially what a spud is. It's a means to place a reasonable use in an environment that would, through straight zoning, may not be compatible.
and are y'all aware that y'all would have to maintain, like if, whatever you do decide to possibly build there, if you got it rezoned, the new traffic studies and all that, so I mean, you might have to do some substantial traffic improvements just in that area based on what type of impact you might have. Has that been brought to your attention, or is that, I am speaking correct with that, right, Lance?
Yes, sir, whatever the use would, if you place there, he'd be required to do a traffic and drainage study once they, or submit application for a building.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the applicant is aware of that, not.
Anticipating the proper procedures for developing this within the zoning? Yeah, we're aware of that, just looking at the zoning table, what we are currently allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. Client just desires to rezone and go with a different approach, and that's why I'm here to see, what is objected to it and what could resolve these objections, like the spud, basically glorify what you got going on there. And I always anticipated following, the UDC and whatnot.
Well, regardless of what we do, what we do, ultimately, it's the council that's going to make that decision, the newly constituted council, which has several new members this year, so. Any other questions, or do we have a motion?
I'd make a motion to recommend.
Hold on, excuse me.
Yeah,
Did we
Mr.
open for public hearing? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
We did the
have-
public
I'm
hearing.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Did we do a public? Did we
No,
do a
not on
public?
there.
I don't think we
No, we
did
did.
we?
We did.
Okay.
I called Jamaica.
Oh, that's
Stacy.
right, you called her, yeah.
Would you
I
be?
may be
will-
old, but I can remember what happened 5 minutes ago.
Would you be willing to potentially bring this back to staff level and redo this as a spud? Is that something that y'all would really consider?
I
think
don't
you would,
wanna-
I think you would have something a little bit more favorable,
Right.
just my own opinion.
Right.
That way you have a
It's
lot
not
more
my
things.
property, so, I'm representing my client, and I'd like to discuss with him before, me committing anything to you.
Okay.
Let's see, you want to wait a little? I'd like to discuss with him first. I don't want to commit without talking to him.
Well, then let's see. Then you're probably better off asking for a deferral so that you can have that discussion with him, meet with staff and see what you have to go through and make an informed decision and then come back and let us know. But you'd have to request that deferral. We can't defer you automatically.
Right, okay. So as we stand here, the zoning is, we're not in
I
favor.
think the inclination is that a motion's going to be made to recommend denial to the council. Now, whether the
Right.
council accepts that or not, and I'm just guessing, I don't know what they're going to do. But what Mr. Dumas is suggesting is, before we even get to that, if you bring it back as a SPUD or some other mechanism that might be more favorable, and there's no guarantees on that, then,
Right.
goes to the council with a recommendation for approval as opposed to denial.
That was my question.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, and it's probably something that could be there. It's just having that control over that type of rezone for something like that. You stand to win a little bit better chances of things, just our opinion.
Understood?
So if you want us to move forward with a vote one way or the other on a recommendation, we can do that, but if you want to defer it, then you have to ask us to defer it.
I'm gonna ask you to defer it.
All right, we don't have to vote on that.
No, no, we don't have to vote
It'll
on
be
that.
pulled out, and we'll defer it to the next meeting or whenever it's brought back up, okay? All right, staff report,
No report.
thank you. Item number 7,
Move.
motion to adjourn is granted. Thank you, everybody, have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you all next year.